Kristen just came from the gym, so don't mind her, but she's gonna taste the cookies and cream live, so hold on, okay? Don't taste it yet. Hey, Nikki.
Hi. Can I give the baby a hug? I love you, Bella.
See this, if she can watch these, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
Words that come to mind when I hear the evidence in this case are a senseless crime and the viciousness of the crime. And equally aggravating in this court's determination is the despicable act of disposing of the bodies in the manner in which they were done in this case. I've been a judicial officer now for starting my 17th year, and I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen. And nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. So the court is going to sentence Mr. Watts as follows. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Shanann Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed with no possibility of parole. And that is going to run consecutively to all but counts 3 and 4. With regard to count 2, as it relates to murder in the first degree with Bella, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole. With regard to count number 3, the court is going to sentence you as it relates to Celeste to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole. With regard to counts 4 and 5 relating to Bella and Celeste as a different theory of first-degree murder, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections, and legally those sentences must run concurrently as a different theory of first-degree murder. Recognizing the unlawful termination of pregnancy for the unborn child that has been named Nico, the court absolutely believes that the maximum sentence of 48 years would be appropriate to run consecutive to the other charges, with an additional mandatory parole period of 3 years as set forth by statute. With regard to count number 7, as it relates to tampering with a deceased body, as well as counts 8 and 9, each a class 3 felony, the court is going to impose a maximum sentence of 12 years each for those counts to run consecutively to the other counts. The court is going to order that statutory fees be paid and court costs. The court's going to grant the prosecution 91 days to file a notice of restitution, and that will be the sentence of the court. We will shortly be in recess. I would respectfully ask the parties that you remain in your seat. There is a plan by the deputies on allowing people to exit the courtroom, so please remain seated until you are authorized to leave the courtroom based on the direction of the deputies. Deputies, I would respectfully ask that you take this defendant into custody and have him serve the rest of his life in the Department of Corrections. We are in recess.
I was never the smartest kid on the block. I worked my tail off to fight through school. I was not a book, like Chris is a book smart person. He reads something one time and he's like, it's memorized. Me, on the other hand, I was the one staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning studying and still struggling. I'm a horrible test taker. Horrible test taker. I can know all the answers, but put that test in front of me and I bomb it, or I struggle. And I've always struggled, through school. I've always, a lot of things, like insecurities, all of it played, I think it played a huge role in my everything. So, but then the thing about me that is different than just different about me is I've never given up. A lot of you know my part of my story, my health challenges, bad relationships, things that could have knocked somebody down completely hardcore. But the thing is I believe that everything in life happens for a reason, and I also believe people are placed in our life for a reason. And in the part where I gave up on everything, I quit my job. It was kind of temporarily, but kind of quit my job of 9 years. I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You don't understand me. You don't understand what's going on in my life. And I quit. And I got a friend request from Chris. I was in a really, really, really bad place. And I got a friend request from Chris on Facebook. And I was like, oh, what the heck? I'm never going to meet him. Except, one thing led to another. And 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado. And he's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And because of my health challenges, because I got so sick, I let him in. And he only knew me at that time. He knew me at my worst. And he accepted me. And, through your vows, like through sickness and everything, he's been there. He was the one that let me lay on him and fall asleep for 3.5 hours on his lap while he had to pee. He is the best thing that has ever happened to me.
He was a great father.
Good.
I mean, I couldn't ask for a better father for him, for the kids. I mean, honestly, he did everything for them. Played with them, bathed them. I couldn't ask for someone better.
Okay.
Husband-wise, same way. Never seen any kind of problems with him. And the little Celeste had allergies to nuts, tree nuts. Very allergic to them. She had 2 EpiPens she had to carry with her. So she told us all, get rid of anything that's got nuts or any, just get it up high enough. Don't gotta throw it away. Just get it out. No problem. My wife cleaned the whole house out. I mean, I had to go looking for stuff. You know, she took underneath every cabinet. So she told Chris's parents the same thing. They did go over her house a couple times, and Chris's mom really never got along with Shanann because she took her son away from him. That's how we took it. They didn't come to her wedding, their engagement party. They didn't come to nothing to theirs. So when Shanann was over, I think it was the second week she was there, the weekend, she had called me up frantically and said, "Get me the hell out of here now." The mother had nuts all over the place, and they're all worn. She was there a week prior and told her to make sure this is this way. So the mother, at that time, Shanann was feeding the girls some hot dogs for lunch and all this, and she had her other two nieces and nephews over, and they came out with ice cream with all these nuts in it. And so ended up being, Shanann and her had little words, and Shanann said no, and she called me up and said, "I gotta go. We just had a blowout because, she's got nuts on the table, nuts on the in the cabinet right there, open for this little girl." And she said, "No, I'm done." And so she told Shanann, "Well, that's just a training lesson or something like that to her." I'm like, it's a 3-year-old girl you're talking to. It's not something you're trying to, discipline. Birthday present, hey, your sister's getting a birthday present today. You're not getting one because it's not your birthday. That's some kind of, saying this is what you do,
Right.
So Shanann called Chris and told Chris about it. So Chris said he called his parents that night, and his mother told him the same thing. That's what we heard. I didn't hear it, but that's what Shanann had said. So, of course, Shanann never went back to the house with the children. She stayed at our house. So, there was a few times that Shanann would FaceTime Chris, because she would FaceTime every night because of the children. And there was a few times, a couple of times it did catch me off guard, like, what's going on? Because she was like, "Are you going to pay attention to the children?" Like he was in another world out there. And he's like, yeah. And then, like I said, and I started saying, well, what's he doing? Is he just not, ignoring them and just not paying attention, watching TV or whatever, When he came out, he was the same way. If you've ever seen anything, if you've seen Chris, he's just the same way. That's how he is. There's no, everything you see in the courtrooms or whatever, he's the same way. That's just how he was.
As far as
his demeanor, he was just more straightforward and didn't,
quiet.
Yeah, he wasn't the really, he would talk to us when we were there. Everything you'd have a good time, but it just doesn't, We went to the beach. The kids, it was the first time they ever went to the beach, and he was like the same way. It didn't dawn on me anything, and Shanann never said anything to us about a separation, fights. I don't know if she wanted to just keep it from us and not, get us involved in it. So we knew nothing about anything that they were doing, separation or any of this stuff, until this all happened, and friends of Shanann said, no, this is what was going on. And they said, they had a suspicion that he may have been cheating on her, because she had come home. When he went, she was gone Saturday he said he was going to a baseball game. And I caught that kind of odd, because he never leaves the kids with somebody else if Shannon's not there. He's usually always home. Okay, they made the arrangement to go to a baseball game, but she came home and she checked her finances on the phone and found out he spent $60-something for dinner. And he says, yeah, I went out and had salmon and a couple beers. So, unless you went to a real expensive restaurant, $60 for a couple beers, and that may have caused a little bit of, with her, like I said, if she knew anything that was thought something, that really threw her off, saying $60 for salmon and that.
So he told her that, or she called him?
No,
on the
she.
phone,
That's
or-
when, I don't know if she was home at the time or if she called him up.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, you know, it just didn't sound right to her.
Okay.
Special Agent Philip Jones. Today's date is August 15th, 2018. Interviewing Nicole Kessinger with Mark Blair.
He also told me that he was currently in the process of a separation from his wife. As far as I knew, that was becoming pretty finalized. And then Monday afternoon, he told me that she was like gone and he didn't know where she was. And at that point, I don't think that it set off any alarms in my head, just because, I mean, I have friends that I text, and if I don't hear from them for like 3 hours or 6 hours or even like a couple days, I don't feel concerned about where they're at, because it's kind of a standard thing for me. But then she didn't come home that night. I was like, okay, well, maybe she'll come back. And I was kind of under the impression, since they're separating, that maybe she decided to take the kids. Maybe she decided to just leave for a few days. I don't know. I was just, I felt like maybe she was just trying to get some space. And I figured maybe that was why she left her stuff there, to just get some quiet.
Hi, Cece. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she was having issues, and she's pregnant, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other 2 daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car? Perfectly understandable. Do you happen to know her address, Nicole? I'm at the Shanann house. It's 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick.
She was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
She only has one vehicle?
No, they only have the one vehicle in his work truck.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
She
There's
took
not
the girls and went on a play date, but they're 4 and 2. She went on a play date. Why wouldn't she take in a car? They're both in car seats. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and she didn't go to the doctor's appointment.
Okay. No answer on the phone. Husband's on his way.
Supposedly, but he said that 30 minutes ago when I called him again, and he said he was 45 minutes out still.
Police department, if anyone's inside, make yourself known.
I'm here. Hang on. Yeah, get me on the phone. Okay, get Matt on the phone.
Scott, how you doing? How's it going? So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
That's me. Yeah. The neighbors went and checked his cameras and they said that a white car drove away at 1. It was me though. That was me. I dropped her off.
That was the last action on my camera.
Okay. That's throughout the whole day, or?
Besides Chris leaving?
Well, yeah.
What about is there any way you can look for the day? During the daytime?
What? Frantic. The girls' car seats are in the car too. So she left with the friend. She would have took the car seats.
I can go look if he doesn't find her.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Huh? Chris is in the house. We're standing outside of his house. Can we go in the house?
We can.
I mean, that's up to him. It's his house. If you guys.
Nikki, I'm giving you permission to walk in my daughter's house.
Mind if I come in, Chris? Okay. You checked upstairs? She's not there? I just want to make sure she's not passed out somewhere. Is she diabetic?
Her phone's here? Her phone's here.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home?
She works, this is her lifeline.
So when that thing turns back on, it's going to start blowing up.
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
It was shut down?
She's in the fly,
Yeah.
right?
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks. That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
And see, I've got her friend leaving out here at 2 in the morning, I think. So, my camera. Did you go check if anything was missing around your house?
There wasn't nothing. It was like all the old blankies and about it. And then her winter was in the nightstand. Her phone was still there.
So nothing, no cars came through, because I guarantee, with the headlights, it picks up the headlights
Oh, yeah.
automatically.
And my Vivint said that at 5:27, my garage door was left open. But that could have been the sensor as well. It says it was shut during the day, but I think when Nikki's son, he may try to move the door around, maybe when they were trying to get in the garage door, and it probably broke the laser there. Because my alarm started going off.
Well, I know he said the front door he tried going in, but he had the lock up.
That's for
so
the
that
kids,
set
so
it
they
off.
don't get out.
Right.
And our remote on the outside doesn't work anymore. It got wet and the whole radio on the back.
So yeah, that was it.
Okay. All right. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Hopefully something comes up here.
Yeah.
No.
He's never fidgety, he's never rocking back and forth, and if you look, he never loads his stuff in and out of the garage ever.
Right.
And it doesn't look like he came from right here, it looks like he came from down the street. And then the other thing that doesn't make sense is why would he pull past this part? You can see him pull past.
Are you able to record this?
Right now it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day. But she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
Don't get mad, but what it looks like is that get that new life was to get rid of your old life. And I think that you killed these girls before their mom came home, and then killed Shanann. And that's what we're kind of left, that's what we have to believe, because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, to her point, if I walked in and my kid was decapitated, I'd call an ambulance, right? So
knowing there's no hope.
It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. So either you're this monster who says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something. So I think we're very, very close to the truth, but not quite there yet. I just want the truth.
That is the truth.
And then what about Bella?
Bella was laid out, sprawled on her bed.
Okay.
And I saw Shanann on top of Cece, so I ran in there.
Okay. And what happens when a coroner looks and says, sees your fingerprints on her neck?
It's not going to be my fingerprints.
Okay. What is it going to be?
It's going to be Shanann's.
Are you sure? Well, we don't know about Bella, right? We don't know about
Bella. It's just, I didn't see Shanann on top of her.
Okay.
That's the commotion I heard upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Okay. Why take their bodies out of the house and bury them?
I was scared. I didn't know what else to do.
Okay.
Nothing was gonna. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to do.
Scared of what?
Scared of what everything was gonna look like. My 2 babies were gone, and I just did that to my wife. And I was the only one left in the house. What do you expect is gonna happen?
Yeah. It did look bad, right?
This was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I do think you were a good dad. I think Shanann was a good mom. I think you guys were doing everything you could possibly do for those girls. I mean, look at them.
Why didn't you put Shanann in the tanks?
I didn't know what else to do.
How far down is she?
I don't know, like 2 feet maybe.
How long did it take you to dig that?
No.
Give me an idea.
20, 30 minutes.
Does anyone ever go up this ladder and look in tanks? So how are you gonna avoid that? Or is it you that does that?
Anybody that goes to the location.
How often is that done if those tanks are checked?
Depends if they're making enough oil or whatnot. Once a week, maybe.
So do you want someone to find them?
I didn't know what else to do, Tammy. That was the location I was going out to that morning.
Anyway.
And I didn't know what else to do.
So you weren't thinking that far ahead?
No.
Okay.
You mentioned that we were talking, you said, I don't know where they are, and then you said something along the lines of, whatever happened to them, this act of pure evil. What does that mean?
It's the evil that I saw when I walked behind Shanann and she was on top of CC. And then I felt evil for what I did to Shanann.
Can you walk me through again? When you walked in, what did she look like? What did Shanann look like? All you saw was her back. Was it the same shirt that you buried her in? Same underwear? And then was she wearing pajamas?
Shanann?
Yeah.
No, that's what she sleeps in.
Oh, she sleeps in her underwear. Okay, and no pajamas, no shorts, nothing like that. So then, when you grab her, just as is, that's how she gets to the truck, that's how she gets to the site. Okay.
So did Shanann ever go to bed?
Like when I put her back in the bed?
No, when she got home. Did any of that happen where she got into bed and then you woke her up at 4? Is all of that true? Because it looks like there's some purchase of some hair care products at 2:30 in the morning. Do you know about that?
Hair care products.
And her credit card was denied?
Mm-hmm.
No. You said you don't really use the credit card, so it probably
On credit cards, no.
Would you have bought hair care products at 2:30 in the morning that morning?
No.
Did she get mad at you because there's no money when she woke up? Like, was that part of the...
This is the first I've heard of that.
Okay.
As far as hair care products and the card being denied.
Okay. What were you talking to Nikki about before your wife got home?
Before she got home?
You talked for like several hours.
I think our day, we talked a lot. Conversations, and random conversations. We talk a lot.
Does Nikki know about any of this? Seriously.
No, she doesn't know, like, I mean, she knows, like, from the news and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Did you share with her anything? Does she know your wife was pregnant?
She does now, and I told her that.
She didn't know at the time? How come you didn't tell her?
I was scared too. Felt like, you know, like she wouldn't even like gone on a date with me if she knew that, so it was...
Did she know you were married with kids?
Yes.
Okay, but just not pregnant?
Yes. I told her that, you know, like, we had actively tried before we met.
Oh, try to get pregnant. Okay.
So she knew that.
You can imagine that when we go talk to people going forward, everyone's going to try to distance themselves from any of this.
Yes.
And so if what's going to happen when Nikki says, no, it was our plan to kill everyone and run off together?
She's not going to say that.
Okay.
We were going to talk to her.
Absolutely.
We have to.
So can we get ahead of that for you? Can we get all of that out right now? I mean, so are you sure she's not going to say, oh, I kind of knew he was going to kill him?
No.
She's not going to say that?
No.
Okay. And she's not going to say, boy, we were making plans about buying a house or an apartment. She going to say that?
No, like,
She
she was
Nikki?
just, like, once I had my own place, like, we could, you know, like, hang out more.
Okay. So after the separation, after that dust settled, then you would have availability to go see Nikki. You guys had talks like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, she generally liked me.
Okay.
Please don't put her name out there in the news, though. She's been through enough in her lifetime.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright.
Hotel somewhere.
What's that?
Is he staying here tonight?
I don't know if he's gonna stay in his room, but...
Well, not that, but.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
He's gonna be staying here tonight,
Yeah.
not the county jail, no.
Oh, no, he may go there, I don't know.
He don't live.
I don't know how their procedures work here, so we're trying to figure that out now, so. This is a much more comfortable room than what you'll probably end up in anyway, so, I'd probably just chill here. Do you need anything else though, like more food? Do you want some more pizza?
I'm okay right now.
Are you sure? I'll get you more pizza.
Sure.
Okay. You want to say no to pizza?
I haven't eaten. I've been about 8, 9 hours, so.
Okay.
Wherever you at, I'll find you.
phone call.
Good, how are you?
So we can go inside so they're not.
You guys wanna?
Yeah, let's come on inside and have a chat. Go ahead, I'll follow you guys.
How are you?
Hi.
Good. Sorry, trying not to touch anything.
Sorry, guys.
So,
investigators.
I'm an attorney. She is a defense expert. We have another defense expert here, and I'm an investigator from the corporate office upstairs as well.
Awesome.
So,
Do you think we could just grab everybody down here so I can meet them and get some names and we'll let you guys get back to your thing?
that's fine.
Yeah, just so I can ID who's here.
Sure.
Cause too much of an issue here.
What kind of razor do you use for your head? That's my big question. Because I just cut myself 2 days ago.
you know what? My favorite ones, they're a Schick Extreme 3, I believe it's called. And the blades actually flex.
Oh, really?
It's like a green handle. They're just disposable.
Every time you shower, is that what you do?
I usually right after I shower.
I just started baking this summer.
Yeah.
It sure does save you some headaches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I used to do a real short clipper, and I thought that's got to be easier than razor, but it's not.
No, I totally agree. Well, the trick that I'm having is that my razor's like, after I use it 2 or 3 times on my head, it's dull. Yeah, no, it didn't even occur to me that the neighbors would, and I understand.
Yeah, so it was called in as a burglary, and we're just,
You got to respond to that.
Yeah. So,
Sorry, I was just telling him we probably should have thought to give you guys a heads up.
Well, the DA's office probably should have done that too. So.
I don't think they knew we were coming, in all fairness to them. Oh, okay.
So the big advantage is
The
that
house has been released a long
the
time
blade
ago, I guess,
flexes, so it conforms to the shape of your head.
It was released Wednesday at midnight, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
It was released as a crime scene, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been completely released, so they have no control of who comes in and out at this point. So whoever has access is allowed to be here.
Okay. So I
That's
assume.
what I was saying. They should probably let us know.
Yeah, I assume you got a code for the garage or something to get in.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't need a key to get in. You just punch in the code and it kind of pops open or whatever.
I'll tell the neighbors. You tell the press.
I'm just gonna clear. So we're good to go.
Good to go. They're okay to be in there.
Okay, her parents asked me to let them know if anyone was in here and they weren't notified. That's why they asked me to call you guys.
Yeah, we weren't notified either. We probably should have been.
That's
But,
why. Well, I didn't see any cars. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything on the door. And we were like, there's someone in there.
Code 4.
And her parents, I could have you talk to them if you want.
No, I
asked me
understand,
just to make sure that nobody went in and out of that house.
Definitely understand. It was a good thing you called.
Okay.
They are allowed to be in there.
I kind of figured, but in the same sense, there was no marks,
we didn't know they were there
no
either.
nothing. I didn't have a car with.
And are you part of the group that's going to be moving the?
We're not moving it.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay.
I talked to her parents and the public advisor.
Okay.
And whoever her dad talked to said I could walk to the side of the house and just turn off the main.
That was
Okay. We just don't want the grass to die and all that stuff.
Here, I need to talk to you away from everybody for a minute.
Sure. I mean, obviously
They're not letting anybody know this, but her parents will be here Sunday.
Well, we know they're on their way, but
So it'll only be. It got turned off just this morning.
okay. We just didn't want, because obviously the house is going to be
Well, of course.
part of the estate or
But
whatever.
I figured
and,
for 2 days the sprinkler will
that
be
won't.
fine.
Yeah, that should be fine.
That's-
We may even get a little
That's
rain,
the reason
but
I did it.
as long as it's not off for a couple weeks.
Oh
and,
no,
And,
it'll be taken care of
okay.
when they get here on Sunday.
Frederick Police Department, anybody in the house, make yourself known. Frederick Police Department, anybody in the house?
door secure.
When and where did he meet Shanann?
They met, and he liked her, she liked him, but it didn't, I don't think that was love at first sight or anything. They took a little while and I guess got to know each other and, you know, dated. It was always a little strange that she always said a lot of things about Chris in front of me that I didn't like. Like, this isn't the kind of person I would date. He doesn't know how to do this, or he doesn't know how to do that. He looks like a skater boy. Look at his hair. Look how much stuff he puts on his hair. It was just on and on and on, and I just got a bad feeling.
And they got married in 2012. Did they get married in North Carolina?
They did. Mm-hmm.
How was that?
We didn't attend.
Really?
Mm-mm. We didn't attend because Shanann and I just couldn't get along. And I didn't like the way she treated him.
What do you know about their marriage and their issues?
Oh, very little. Very little. You can only observe. I could only observe what I saw when I was around them. Christopher always seemed anxious, and he when she needed something, I mean, he would run. He wouldn't walk, he would run, he would get it. He just always seemed to be right there at her beck and call.
Are you Miss Powers?
Good morning, Your Honor.
And if I can have you folks introduce yourself for the record.
I'm Cindy Watts.
Ron Watts. Thank you. And I have authorized you to make a statement to the court as paternal grandparents of the children. And if you choose not to make a statement, but your designee, Ms. Powers, chooses to, she can do so as well. How would you like to proceed today? Who's going to be speaking today?
Your Honor, initially they've asked me and they're hoping that they have the strength to speak, but if they do not, they've written out their statements and asked me to finish for them.
That would be fine. Who would like to go first?
If I could start, Your Honor. On behalf of the Watts, Your Honor, and to the community, we thank you for the opportunity and the recognition under the Victim Bill of Rights. We come today as the grandparents and the parent of the daughter and children whose life was taken in this case. We are not here to ask for leniency. We are not in any way condoning or tolerating the crime that has occurred and the pain that has been caused. We join in our daughter-in-law and grandchildren's family in saying this should never have happened. This is not condonable. This is something that we will never get over. We appreciate the consideration that everyone has paid, most especially the families that have lost everyone. We appreciate that they begged for Christopher's life. We agree and echo what they have said, that it is not his place to take anyone's life, nor would it be our place as a community to take his life. So we thank you for the opportunity and for every consideration and effort that's been put out. The prosecution in this case has in fact respected the Victim Bill of Rights. They took the time to explain that the information that my clients had at the time that they were interviewed was not correct. They were misinformed. They were searching for answers. They were not intending to cause any pain to anyone, and they appreciate that the prosecution answered their questions and gave them the time and the respect and the consideration so that they could tell this court and everyone in this community that the interview content was not their message, that they accept that their son has done this, that they accept that he chose to plead guilty, that he sought and requested their consent and agreement for a life sentence. They appreciate that he is given the opportunity to serve that life sentence. It is his responsibility, it is his sentence, and it is not enough to make up for what has done. We understand and we join the family in that we have questions. We don't know how such a thing could possibly happen, or that a man that was responsible for raising his children and protecting his wife would take the steps that he did, and that he would disregard their bodies and the love that he had for them and they had for him and everyone else, and take the gestures and put this community through the investigation and the discovery and the responsibility of bringing justice. We do not understand that. We do not think it was appropriate. We cannot begin to think that an explanation will ever justify it. My clients indicate that they understand that a full opportunity for a confession with all of the responsibility and accountability has not occurred. And they support the family and the request that that happen, if not today, at an appropriate time, in an appropriate manner, so that everyone can have peace, to understand to the best of their ability the details that they need and to have their questions answered. And by giving this opportunity of a life sentence, we hope that he embraces that moment. That had the death penalty been pursued, there would not have been an opportunity to be accountable and to give a full confession. And had the death penalty been sought, counsel would have fought for his life, the prosecutors would have been engaged in a multiple-year battle, the families would have been torn apart, this community would have had to subsidize it and endure it, and we have so much respect and gratefulness that that did not happen. We would strongly encourage Christopher Watts to give that full confession in the tone and in the timing that he thinks is appropriate with the guidance of his counsel. We feel that it would be appropriate and helpful to ease the pain and the suffering. But we also say we don't think that there's anything that he can say that will ever account for his behavior. There's nothing that can be done to cure the harm he has caused. And he has the responsibility to serve his sentence with dignity and with regard for everyone, and to spend every breath that he has left in an atonement for what he has done.
You were railroaded. Oh my goodness. You didn't call us. I said, you just didn't want to talk to us. And, I had to do everything I had to do to get in there to talk to you. I did whatever I had to do to talk to you. I listened to whatever they had to say to me. But honey, I never believed it, any of it. I've been fighting for you. I have been on Channel 7, Channel 9 in Denver, the Denver Post. They had nothing.
They had nothing, a whole lot to go on. They had a theory. That's all they had.
That's all they had was a theory.
The other woman, so.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, they have. It doesn't matter.
What they released actually helped with that, so.
Yes, it did. Yes. What she said and what they pulled off your phone was good. Chris,
It was totally different.
let somebody come talk to you. Yes, let somebody. All we want is somebody. Let a lawyer come talk to you. Request one, Chris. Not we just request one. Someone is going to come and talk to you. Yes.
He got to okay it.
He's got to okay it. You have got to okay it. We can't do anything without you okaying it. Our hands are tied on yours, and we support you 100%. You're going to get out of there.
Like, I have pictures of my wife and kids and myself, and like every night, or every morning, every night, I just, talk to them, say like I have like this book I used to read for CC, and I remember that book, so I read that to them like every night, and like there's some scripture and stuff that I read to them, so I just try to think back, like I wish this never happened. And just like I wish that blinder wasn't on my head, wasn't in my eyes, that would have seen what was going on. Like, I was having, everybody says, oh, you're just out there having fun while your kids, or kids and wife are on vacation. I'm just like, no, it wasn't like that, but it seemed like that's what it looked like when you're going, when you're going to camping, going to drag race, going all the other stuff that you have fun doing, but you're with somebody else. It's not your family. It just didn't seem right. And, with her, it just didn't seem like I could even see that anymore. I was there at her house pretty much every night, So it was like I didn't have that time at home just to really think about anything. Because literally I didn't, like I was only at home from like when I got home from work, I worked out, I ate dinner, and then I went over to her house. Like I never slept in my house in like the whole month of July.
Now, talk me through that though. When you said you went home and then you were at her house, was that while Shanann was gone? Oh, okay. So you weren't even at your house.
No.
This all happened so quickly, didn't it?
It was insane quickly. Like I didn't, like, she even told me like she would never, in like a normal relationship, she would never have somebody over at her house like more than like once or twice a week, but she felt like she wanted me over there.
Yeah.
She said she felt comfortable over there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's what was different, like she wanted me over there. But I just wish that all that would just go away.
The last thing we talked about was where the girls were, but we never really got to talk about that night. So what happened?
So nothing really happened that night. It was in the morning.
Okay.
It was, you know, me and Shanann, she got home like at 2 o'clock. And, you know, I felt her get into bed. And I just felt like I didn't feel it. I just made sure I looked at my phone at 2 o'clock and make sure she's okay, she's in there. And I could kind of feel her kind of stirring around a little bit. And I just had a feeling that she knew like what was going on. Because I mean, obviously I didn't use like an Interrogation gift card, you know, that I'd gotten. I'd used my actual credit card, and I kind of just felt like she knew what was going on. And she started rubbing her hand on me, and we ended up having sex. But I guess that was more like a test.
Oh,
I would have thought.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because when we talked, when I woke up later on in the morning, like, you know, I pretty much, you know, told her like, you know, I didn't think it was gonna work anymore. And she was like, "What happened? What was last night?" You know. So I figured that's what the test after I've gone through everything in my head.
That makes sense.
And she just told me, you know, like to get off of her. And she's like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I couldn't bring it up. I couldn't just say yes, there is somebody else. But then she said, "You're never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see them again. Get off me. Don't hurt me." And then,
is that what she said?
So I was, because like when I climbed in bed, that was pretty much like on top, pretty much like straddling her kind of deal.
Okay.
And she thought I was gonna like, you know, hurt her or her baby or something. So, because she knew that, like, you know, something had happened. She thought I was just trying to, you know, just check out or something. So I had already kind of knew that, you know, using that credit card, it was gonna do it.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
I had no other way to do it.
Oh.
I used, like, because I got these Interrogation gift cards from, like, you know, doing good stuff at work and stuff like that, and I had used them all.
Oh. Was part of you just like, screw it, whatever, I don't care, I'm using this card?
Part of me just wants to say, Nikki, can you pay for this? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Even, I think, from my attorney said she even noticed I used a different card, like a blue card.
Oh.
Maybe she thought, you know, like I felt comfortable enough just using a bank account or something, but you know, I told her I was going to Iraq, and I told you guys.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, it felt like, you know, like looking back at everything, like just like reading the scripture more and more now, I can see, like, you know, God gave me opportunities to get out. Like even my friend Jeremy Lindstrom, he even invited me because like it was his daughter that came and watched the kids on that Saturday night. And he was like, "Hey, you said we're going to a Rocky game. You want to go to me with the Bronco game and watch the Arizona Cardinals?" Like, in my mind, it was like, you know, go. Just say, "Hey, I can't find a babysitter." Bye.
Nikki.
Yeah. And maybe that would have been like, you know, like a light switch in my head goes off, light switch in her head goes off. Maybe it just like goes different directions. That was kind of like my last like opportunity to kind of get out. It seems like, 'cause I wish I would have said, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
And I think that would have just put me on a different trajectory.
Was it just a new type of fight?
It was
never had, or what? What happened?
Yeah, it was a totally different type of fight. It was, it was just felt like, I don't know, it was more anger than anything else. Like there was emotion to it at first, and then it just felt like it was just anger. It was just like, like there was no love there. It was kind of like what we were saying, what she was saying. It was just like, it's almost like we knew like something was combating at each other. And we didn't know, like it wasn't ourselves.
Really?
No.
Anger from you or anger from her?
I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her because she wanted to fix it. Yeah. She knew if something wasn't right. Like, like when the whole thing with my parents happened with my parents called it Nutgate.
What happened?
Nutgate.
What's that?
With the peanut.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatnot.
Oh, with her family?
Yeah.
Pistachio ice cream or whatever.
Yeah, people
Nutgate.
call it nut.
I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, I guess what people are calling it.
Okay.
But that was like another out. Like, maybe I could have just like stopped everything with Nikki and just kind of concentrated on helping like whatever happened there. Because like Shanann had a story, my mom had a story. Like, whatever happened, I probably asked my 10-year-old nephew. Probably can tell me what actually happened.
Well, and they both have their feelings for good reasons, and they both didn't see it the other person's way. And
yeah, and like maybe I didn't talk to my parents from then on until like August 6th. And like, my dad took that whole week off.
You didn't talk to your parents from then on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like Shanann was like, do not talk to them, do not call them, do not do anything.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, and Cece's birthday was 17th, but I think the actual birthday party was like a couple days after.
In August?
July.
Yeah.
And like my mom or my dad was going to go, but then there was like a post on Facebook about allergies and stuff like that Shanann had made, and my dad was like, no, I just can't do it anymore. Just like because
he perceived that as her taking a shot type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like she always says she never put those posts directed at anybody, but she had a method.
If you read them, you know who she's talking about.
She had a method to the madness, and you can see it. Mm-hmm. But I wish I could have just took more time just to fix that. Because like I wanted my parents to be involved. Like since like the whole wedding thing, and then up to that, it was like my mom and my sister were always like combating with Shanann combating with them. Mm-hmm. My dad was always cool. Like he's just like me. He's just like go with the flow. Like I just want everybody to get along type deal.
Chicks, man.
I loved your dad.
Oh, he's the best.
Isn't he? I loved your dad.
I'm sorry, keep going.
That's cool. I just wish I could have just when we were at the beach in August. Like my dad was supposed to take the whole week off just so we could see the kids and like see me and like grab a cookout at my sister's house or something. And then, but we just pretty much spent 5 days at the beach, and Shanann had like booked it so like I mean I don't want to say like punishment for them not to see the kids, but like I wanted them to see it, see them. I wish I could have fixed all that. And I even like when I was at the beach, I told Shanann that it was more like what was going on was more like I feel like because my dad's my hero, I feel like I've lost like something in my life. I haven't been talked to him for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I haven't been to see the kids for 3 weeks, on FaceTime or anything. Mm-hmm. And I wanted them to be able to have that relationship again. And she was pretty much gung ho, like she tried to kill my daughter by giving her pink. I was like, I don't think she gave it to her.
And that was that her stance? Is that your mom
put something in front of Cece?
Like to kill her, or
no? Just like
didn't care.
Like
didn't pay attention.
She thinks that allergies and like this state of age is like people think, oh, you're
like
fine.
It's made up
like
kind of thing.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll just have a rash. He'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I've seen Cece, like the first time. Well, I've seen a picture of when he had a cashew the first time. It wasn't good. And then she had kiwi the second time, and then the same thing happened. And I know it's real.
Do you know it's serious? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it wasn't like her throat like closed up, but she broke out in this full body rash that looked really crazy looking. And luckily, like nothing with her throat like happened. That's when I called my mom and talked to them for a while, and then they're just like they just couldn't deal with her anymore. Shanann just kind of like, it like flipped out. My nephew told Bella to go hide behind the curtain because I don't think your mom was going to let you come over here again or something like that.
So it got heated.
Oh, it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a last straw between them, I think.
Like in the same room or over the phone?
No, they were at
they were
at my
really
mom's
heated.
house. Yeah, because Cece and Bella and my niece and nephew were there.
Okay.
How did Shanann find out about the ice cream thing?
Because Shanann was there, and I guess they were all sitting one of those couches, kind of like a U, and my niece went into the kitchen, and she knew where the ice cream was. I mean, she'd been there.
So it's not like your mom gave it to her? Like she got her own ice cream?
Yeah, she went in the freezer, got it, went out, and stopped beside Cece and started eating. But like, it's just a matter of like Cece could go like like that. Now, I don't know what would happen if she just got it on her hand.
Right.
But like, I know on like the prick test, on the back.
There were so many things that happened, weren't there? That just were little tiny ingredients to this recipe.
Nothing like.
It's nuts, Chris. I mean, it's just so many things just didn't go your way.
Everything was like somebody was stirring a pot, and it was just.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
Like I woke her up to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that because it was just eating at your
brain? Yeah, like I knew like something like something just felt right with me. So I know like she knew. I just knew she knew. I just felt like maybe the kids weren't going to be there when I got home that day.
And just so I'm clear, you thought maybe in your mind you thought maybe she would take the kids somewhere else or like lock you out of the house or
just like I wouldn't want to make a scene like trying like pound on the door trying to get in or anything like that. But like I just felt like that was what I did on Sunday. It was kind of like or Saturday night was kind of like the last straw. Kind of like going out with somebody and using an actual bank account card and just like not trying to hide it at all.
So walk me through it though, because she comes home, she touches you, you guys have sex, you fall asleep, then you wake up for work, all natural, all a normal day's work type thing.
Yeah.
What was it that made you think, I just can't do this anymore, I have to talk to her?
So like when I was with Nikki, it was different. Like I wasn't even like in the realm of I'm a dad, I'm a husband type thing.
Oh.
And then like I was saying, when I'm never at home, like sleeping in my own bed, like I have no like concept of that anymore.
Interesting. So in your mind and heart, you could have moved on.
Like it kind of felt like if I wasn't at home, like I didn't think about it almost, because like if I wasn't sleeping on my own, like I think there was at one point like Nikki had gone to the mountains with her friends for like a few days, like into June, first part of July, and then like that part obviously I was at home, but like from that whole month of July on, it was like I was never at home. Like I never had all those reminders around me. I never had like every time my wife would call me, I would be at Nikki's house.
Oh, while she was in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would like walk outside and talk to her, like when I was next to the car or something like that. I would never be at home looking like have all these pictures around me, just being in the same bed, seeing my kids' beds, seeing everything that that we built for the last 6 years.
And so, did you just want to once and for all get it out in the open?
I just wanted to just tell her how I was feeling at that point in time. Like I didn't feel like me and her were compatible anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't feel like that because what was going on with Nikki, it was new. It was new.
Right, absolutely.
Anything that's new always feels better than the old.
Yes.
You were probably bitten by the love bug.
Yeah,
that's how a lot of therapists talk about it. Yeah.
It was just like I never felt that. I mean, even like with new relationships in the past, like it always felt different. Like the first couple weeks, and then but it just with someone Nikki felt different. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like you said, like I was more in control, and like it was more of like maybe more of me coming out. Because Shanann always said like it always seemed I was more myself around other people, like her cousin Cody, like Cody lived or came up visited us for a little bit while we were in Colorado for a little while, and Cody always talked about like how Chris is so funny, Chris is like Shanann would always just like, oh, you're never like that with me. It's like maybe I always felt nervous around you.
there's only so much oxygen in the room, right? I say this to some people when dominant personalities, you know.
I just always felt nervous. I always felt like I was, I never could actually just, be myself.
Can I ask you something about that morning that you had sex with Shanann? Did you feel at all like maybe you were kind of cheating on Nikki by doing that?
I felt strange. I felt like, the first time I was with Nikki, I felt weird. First time,
Sure.
And then the last time I was with Shanann, I felt totally strange. I was just like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I had become. I felt like I become people I see on TV, and that did not feel right with me. Like I didn't know what had happened to me. So Nikki even asked me like, have you done this before? Have you ever strayed away? I'm like, I've never even thought about it. It's like, what's different? It's like, I guess it's just you that's different, because I've just never actually, like, I've seen girls smile at me before, never done anything about it. With her, it was just like, it's like she had a leash on me and she tugged me away. As soon as she walked, I'm like, what the heck, what's going on? That conversation went so many different ways. Like they'd gone from like staying together to not staying together to just like all of the above.
Okay. So this is half an hour, or what?
Definitely not more than half an hour, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think.
Are you crying? Is she crying?
It's back and forth. It's like, she's got, mascara. She didn't wash her face when she got home. So she had makeup on still, so mascara was running all over her and stuff like that. And it was nothing about that conversation. I just wish I could take it all the way back. Just the whole Nikki thing back, everything. But
so then when did it turn?
As far as that conversation? Just at the end when I was telling her, like, I told her I didn't love her anymore. That's when it happened.
What happened?
She told me to get off her, and then I put my hands on her.
Okay.
Did you say she said something like that you were hurting the baby or something?
That was before that, because when I was straddling her, it was kind of like around her waist type deal.
Why did you get on her like that?
I just, when we got on the bed, that's just when I got on.
Is that so she would listen to you?
I felt like she could probably listen to me just laying beside her, but I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her? I don't know.
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris. You don't know if you knew.
Just like everything that happened that morning, I don't know, like I try to go back in my head, I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. And everything just kind of like...
Felt like you had to?
It just felt like it was... I don't even want to say it felt like I had to. It just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it, and then I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
You never thought about it before?
It was just like, I don't want... Like you said, like in the sentencing hearing, that prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes for something like that to happen. Like, why couldn't I just let go? I didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, just let
Was
go.
it feeling like it was in motion and you just couldn't stop it?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't even want to know what she saw when she looked back at me, honestly.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
She wasn't fighting.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
I don't know. Maybe she was praying. Maybe she was just. And I read the Bible. It said, where the scripture says, don't forgive these people, for they do not know what they do. Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she, like when you guys told me, like, take off your shirt and check for defensive wounds, and there wasn't going to be any. She didn't fight. I don't know why.
Like she didn't grab. Could she grab your arms, or were her arms pinned down, or?
Not that I remember. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think like I moved to where my knees were around her arms or anything. But it was just kind of like when I got on top of her, we started talking. That was it. It's kind of like in my head, or like in the back of my head, that was going to happen, and just like at the end of the conversation, it was just like, that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go.
Did it seem like it was that long, 2 to 4 minutes? How long did it seem for you?
Almost kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but I just like I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
At some point there was a statement about rage. Do you feel like you were in a rage at that point?
That's the only way I can describe it, honestly. Like a snap or something. I mean, I know. I guess my attorney had said like some, strangulation is more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, I don't know how that can be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right in there, using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
it just felt like somebody was like behind me, and just like I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right? Where you're just like maybe felt out of control, or maybe felt like I don't know why I couldn't take a step back, or like even when you said when your buddy was like, let's go to the football game, you wanted to say yes, you just couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like I haven't been to a football game since North Carolina, so I was just like, yeah, sure. Like, I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just text him, hey, babysitter fell through, can't go.
So then what?
After Shanann was, I guess, once she was gone, it was just like I didn't know what was going on. It's like it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like I was shaking. I didn't know what had happened. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time. Like most people say, like, why don't you just call 911? Why not? Like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know. You don't know what you would have done. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
I agree with that.
Like I said, if somebody shoots somebody, you don't know what was going through their mind at that point in time. You don't know what you'd have done.
So what happened next?
Bella came in.
Is that what happened? Bella came in. What she said?
Wrong.
Did she hear something? Is that what she came?
Obviously, I think.
Okay. What'd you tell me?
I don't feel good.
And then, did that happen with Bella right in that room?
Not in front of her.
What happened?
She walked in as, she's talking up. She was sleeping.
Did you take her back to her room?
Put Shanann in that sheet and found the site.
Okay. Then what?
Carried her downstairs, backed my truck up.
At that point, were the girls still there? Okay. So then Shanann's in the truck. Then you went back to the house.
We got everybody back in the truck.
Was Bella first or was Cece first?
In the truck?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Shanann was first, and then Bella was next. Was Bella alive when you guys got in the truck? Oh, okay. What happened?
I woke back up.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about this part, honestly.
Okay.
Those are my kids. This is my baby. I just talk to them every night. Help me stay up.
Okay.
Every time I see pictures of them, I don't know how this could have happened. Being a dad was the best part of my life. I took it all away.
I think that's the hardest part for us, Chris, is we see those videos, we see that love that you had for your girls. Like, it's obvious to us, and even to us, it's hard for us to understand how a dad who's given piggyback rides and you know, making snacks and watching princess movies and those kinds of things. How you get to that point, you know?
I don't know. Just, like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
Like when that prosecutor said that Bella bit her tongue, like repeatedly, I just wanted to just bang my head up against the wall.
So you put Shanann in the truck, and then you put the two girls in the truck? Were they just sitting in their car seats, or I guess they didn't probably have car seats in your truck, did they?
No, they was sitting in the back with the, like in that bench.
So Shanann was back there too?
She was on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Mommy, okay?
What'd you tell them?
She'll be fine.
Did you have their stuff with them? Like their toys and their blankets and stuff?
They had something with them that they carried. One of them, I think, had CC and Bella had like a blanket or something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pink blanket or...
What about the dog? I think one of them had a dog, right? That talked, or dog?
Yeah, CC. Yeah, one of them had like a little barking dog.
Was that with you too? Do you know?
I think it was. Trying to, it's hard to remember. Like if they had like the big blanket, small blanket.
I think I saw on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Is that right? Did you have different plans when you put that in there?
I don't know what was going through my head. I felt like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time if I was doing all this, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
What'd you think about that?
I didn't feel like I deserved to live after what had happened.
Was there any thought to the whole family going away that day, to include you?
After everything had happened, that's a definite thought.
Yeah. See, it's interesting to me. We had all kind of wondered if there was a point when you were all together and if you were all going to pass together. That to me makes sense, because that's, even though it sounds crazy, that's what a family man does, right?
Family man doesn't do what he did.
No, I know. I guess what I mean is, it seems like you guys were going to be together forever in that way. Is that maybe what was going through your head?
Honestly, I just felt like I didn't deserve to live.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever judgment I was going to come upon myself, you know, I just didn't deserve to be on this earth anymore. Mm-hmm. What happened?
So what made you not do that, do you think?
I don't know if it was just more of like a, because with the site, maybe it was just more of like, I would have hurt more people than just me and everybody else. Like, I know there's other people out there, not like at the site, but other people like maybe out in the area. Like, I didn't want something like on the site to catch fire and blow up, and then other people around would get hurt in the same.
So you were thinking initially about starting a fire out there, or an explosion or something, or?
Just, no, not for that. Just like maybe I could just take care of myself and not have been dead.
Wow.
It's the only thing you do. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't have anything like that. It's not like you can just commit suicide that way. But
So
it's
just
like,
to blow yourself up?
I mean, it was just, I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I don't have weapons. I've never hunted before in my life. I don't know nothing was right that morning.
Yeah. I remember you kept telling me that. You kept saying, I didn't know what I was doing, Tammy. I didn't know. Like,
yeah, when you asked me about the sheet, like, what were you doing? Like, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. I think you were just like in automatic mode, or it seemed like. So did you drive straight out there? So what were you thinking on the way out there?
I was kind of like what I was doing right now. I'm just like, nervous, shaking, not knowing what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, I know like my life is completely changed. I don't know like what's happening. Like, honestly, like I try to picture that whole ride, like it's like 45 minutes to an hour ride out there. And it's just like, couldn't I have like saved my girl's life? Couldn't I have done something? Why did I do it? I don't know.
Right.
Like, this is my flesh and blood. This is like what I wanted all my life, was to be a dad, just to have, you know, kids, and they love me, they, you know, all that, and it just nothing made sense.
Right.
Like the oil tank, nothing made sense. I'm just like, what the doing?
Mm-hmm. So what happened when you got out there?
I took Shanann out just to a place off to the site.
Mm-hmm.
And then
What were the girls doing when we were doing that?
just sent them back to the truck.
And then what happened after that?
CC was first.
So was she alive when she went into the oil tank? No?
I put the blanket over her head.
And that's how she passed. Couldn't breathe.
No. I put the blanket over her head. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She's sitting right beside her.
Did she understand? Did she know what was going on?
She didn't say anything.
And then the same for Bella? Just without a blanket?
With the blanket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look. It's like every time I closed my eyes, I just hear her saying, "Daddy, no," and that was it.
That's what Bella said.
I hear that every day.
You really? Sorry, man.
You know, sorry doesn't really take anything back that I did.
I know. Is it possible that in your mind you didn't want them to suffer throughout their life? Was this like a mercy thing?
I mean, you can say that like after the fact, but it was just like, I don't.
You didn't feel like that during it?
I just didn't. I felt like it was just like an anger with Shanann, with everything, that I was just taking it out on everybody that was in front of me that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, kids growing up without their parents, I mean, depending on what grandparents or whoever they grew up with, seemed to be fine, but it was just like, it was an anger thing. It was just like.
And what were you so angry at Shanann about? Like, if you could pinpoint it.
Nothing that makes anybody to want to do this. I mean, you could be angry at your spouse like your whole life, but you should never have done anything like this. You should never let it get to that point. But I let it get to a point where I've never been angry before. Like, and this was like the epitome of being angry.
Yeah.
The epitome of like showing a rage. The epitome of like losing your mind. I mean, even like some people in here said, dude, like, the heck happened? He must have freaking snapped. And like, I just walk away. I'm just like, you know, it's I don't see it in my mind how it could have, like, you know, I look outside every day, I'm like, what could we be doing right now? But, you know, right now I'd have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and more than likely a 1-month-old son. And a beautiful wife. And just like, right now it's just me.
I watched that video of you finding out that Shanann was pregnant. You don't seem excited. You seem like kind of in shock.
Scared.
And yeah, like, oh fuck. Like,
Well,
it's already complicated and now this.
Well, it's like, when we had talked about it like a couple weeks, it happened fast. Like with Bella, it was like, we almost gave up trying. And then she bought me like a supercharger for my car. And then with Cece, it was like, we had to try. And then finally, but with Nico, it was, you know, once or twice, and then like 2 weeks later, she's pregnant.
Is that what happened?
Yes. And it's just like, it was more of like surprise, scared. I'm like, wait, what? Like we just talked about this, like, you know.
And so in conversations with Nikki, and I get it. I mean, you're telling her like the progress toward the divorce is a little bit more than it was. And then, so what were you guys planning?
So it was more of like, she was gonna help me find an apartment that was affordable. It's kind of just around like Brighton or maybe just close to work, like for Lupton or something around there. That's kind of like where my area was.
Did you talk about moving in with her?
She didn't want that.
She didn't want that? Would you have done that if she would have been cool with that?
I've been a little too soon, I would have thought. There was just, we'd only been really seeing each other like almost like a month, or maybe just talking about 2 months. That would have been really.
What were you thinking about when you called the school that day, on Monday?
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. Just, I mean, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. I mean, they were right to be, suspicious about anything. Look, 'cause I knew I probably sounded eccentric on the phone and out of sorts, and just I don't even know what they were thinking. They heard me.
I think they thought it was weird, but I don't know how you would not sound weird, like you said.
So, are you 100% sure the girls were still around and alive when you drove out? Okay. So that's completely accurate. There's nothing else about that.
They got in the truck.
Okay.
Where did the blanket go?
It's probably in the trash can or something, I think.
In the trash?
It wasn't like, it was still in my truck.
Okay. We thought we saw some GPS where you had stopped by near construction roll-off dumpster. Is that true, or?
I think that's like, I dumped my clothes in there.
So that would have been on the way back to the house?
My neighborhood.
Yeah. When Officer Kunrad was there? Okay. Was it one of those red construction dumpsters?
More than likely.
Okay.
Did you pack new clothes? How did that work?
I already have some in there, because like, in case we have like a spill or something, if you ever get crude oil on you, you don't. Yeah, I have like 2 pairs of boots, all kinds of different stuff in there, just because like just one time I had to clean up a spill and I had defrost on, and I had like a headache for like 2 weeks because it's like the crude oil that comes with that. So I always have something in there.
So where did you keep them after you took them off? Like, did you just change out there into your new other clothes?
So I dumped my clothes in that dumpster.
But that wasn't that on the way back? When you were coming? Like, you'd already worked the whole day, right?
I'd work like till like 11 or so.
11.
Yeah. So that was back when Nicole Atkinson.
Yeah, when she was at my house at the doorbell, that's when I knew someone was at the house.
Right.
Did you think right then, like, oh fuck, like here we go? Or what were you thinking then?
I didn't even know why she was there. I was like, I didn't know, like, maybe she had an appointment or something with Shanann. I didn't know.
What did you think, like, that day, like, what you were going to say? Like, what was your plan? Were you just going to go home and be like, report to the police that your family's gone,
I
or?
had, like, I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, after everything, I mean, I don't even know how I was even acting even normal to people that I was around. Because when, like, Troy and Cody and Chad and Melissa and all them, like, when they showed up on the site, I don't even know how I was even being somewhat even coherent what I was saying, but apparently they understood me. So I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, this wasn't like something like some Criminal Minds type.
Like well thought out.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like that.
You're just minute by minute at that point.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute by minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I mean, just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like going up the stairs, and it just didn't. No, like what Frank said, it's like I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
No, I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Did you think there would be less chance of someone finding them if they were in separate tanks, or?
Whatever my reasoning was in my head that day, it wasn't sound. Nothing was right.
And you don't even remember thinking about it?
No, it was just like, it was like a reaction of something that I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that? There were two.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to, because like she kept, I didn't want to, like when I was putting, there's one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head, so they didn't have to see.
Okay. And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
Yeah, they didn't know this one.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like when I was driving up there, I mean, they were just, sitting there just, kind of asleep or kind of just like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. I didn't.
Do you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
Honestly, it was just happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought that was my own.
Okay.
But I wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody passing away, trying to keep anybody separate.
What made you do that, Chris? What made you plead guilty?
I didn't want anybody else to. I didn't want them to go through this for 2 or 4 years. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 to 4 years. Like they would have done anything I told them to do.
Sure.
That's what they're. I don't see how they can do that. And like that's what attorneys do. Like they take their defendant and they say, hey, like what happened? Okay, we'll go with that story. Like I told them everything I just told you guys, and it's just like they got together. Like, well, if they ever offered a plea deal, would you ever want to like just plead guilty to them? Like, yeah, I mean, if we can end this, end it. Like I was like in September, I told them that.
Really?
Yeah, but it was way too early, and the prosecution was still doing their investigation, still grabbing evidence and all kinds of stuff, and that wasn't even really on the table. So I think it was like around Halloween. I think that's when the prosecution went to Frank and Sandy and Frankie's house, and it's talking like, if we can end this, would you be open to that? And that's when like the whole death penalty and everything, all that conversation happened. And I guess they were surprised that it would just be over.
Yeah.
And
we were all in shock. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was like.
It's like we were going 100 miles an hour and then we just hit a brick wall. Like that's what it felt like to all of us. So I mean, obviously you had more time to.
Yeah, I mean,
contemplate it than us.
I told John and Kate and Sophia and everybody, Amy, okay, if we can just stop this, and like, I know it's, everybody's telling me to fight this, there's no like, there's like, everybody's saying there's like not enough evidence to such and this and that, and I'm just like, no, this needs to end. Like, I don't want people to have to, because for Frank and everybody to have to fly back to Colorado every single time and get reminded of this, like, I'm not sure, it's never going to go away, but to actually have to come and talk about it, have other people talk about it, have all three of you get on the witness stand and say what they saw, what they've seen, what they heard on tapes and everything like that. It's just like, I don't want people to relive that over and over and over again for years, like it already was.
Did you ever think about, well, it could be very believable, what I told him, it could be very believable that Shanann did, end the girls. And so maybe if I tried to convince people that, maybe if I fought with my attorneys on that, maybe I could lessen it somehow. Did you ever think about that?
Honestly, I never even thought about the story until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah. Okay.
I wondered.
I never even thought about it till you guys mentioned it.
So what did you think about it once it got mentioned?
It's just like I just went with it. I didn't like, I knew my dad was out there. I knew it was like, I knew they would probably believe it because, my mom and my sister just never really liked Shanann. And I knew that, like, I mean, through all this, like, I got letters from some of my friends that even said, when we went over to your house, we could see, Shanann was more of a dominant personality and more of like, hey, you're always helping with the kids and everything. Just, you're a great dad and everything. We could see, a couple things that I never saw or, whatnot. And even my best friend Mark even said, there's always, something, I didn't really get with Shanann. I was like, nobody ever told me any of this stuff, but okay. But yeah, I never thought about that story. And, that's what my attorneys were going with. Yeah. And then, like, I think it was probably the second week I told them, like, what had really happened.
What did they say after that?
They were quiet. They were writing it down. They said they wouldn't judge me, so I told them. I told them everything that happened.
There was like, wasn't her phone found on the couch or between the couch cushions? Like, did you plant all that stuff?
I just threw it in there.
You just threw it in there?
Why
did you do that?
I don't know what was going on that morning. Like, even like, her watch, her phone, like, if I was actually, like, if I'd planned this, I would probably just take it out to the field or something, But,
what about her ring and stuff? What were you thinking about that?
It's like, maybe she actually really wanted the divorce. Maybe she didn't want to fix it. Just put it there on the counter.
She took it off? Or did you take it off?
I took it off.
Okay. Oh, so that would look like she was saying, I want a divorce, I'm leaving it here when I'm taken off. I see.
So the phone and her watch and the couch, was that morning before you left to go to service? Okay.
That's, I think, Nicole's son found it or something.
Yeah.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door opened.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah. So there was a lot of movement. I think it was around 4:26 or something. And the garage door opening, the basement door opening, and then of course the living room sensors and all. Do you remember what you were doing all during that time? Other than
you had a lot of
going in and out the
steps.
garage.
I'll just say that.
Okay. So like the basement, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I really have down there is my workout, the bench press and whatnot.
Do you remember going down there for anything or opening that door for anything? Did you think about, well, maybe I'll take her out that way, or is it a walkout basement?
No.
It wasn't at your house. Okay.
No, it's like a garden level basement. So
okay.
But no, I don't remember really. I don't think I worked out that morning.
Like, were you packing your lunch in the kitchen? Like, did you have to do all that normal stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely packed the lunch and everything. Did all that, but I don't remember about the basement. Unless I just worked out that morning, I just don't remember. I don't think I did.
So one of the more...
Unless there was a trash bag down there, that's gone.
Yeah, you got trash bags in there?
Maybe there wasn't any in the garage, and I went down there and got one.
Do you normally carry a roll of trash bags in your truck?
No.
So there was a roll in your truck?
There was?
Yeah.
Maybe I just grabbed it and brought it with me then.
That would have been kept in the basement, maybe? Or
the basement or the garage.
Or the garage. We found out about Nikki right before the polygraph.
I figured that out after with meeting with John and everybody that she had met with somebody from the CBI. Mm-hmm. Like on the 14th or the 15th. I was just like, wait, they were talking. Oh, okay. So you already knew. So, but
I mean, I didn't know how extensive it was, but yes, we knew.
Yeah, I mean, walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out.
Yeah.
Just the feeling I had walking in that room. Yeah. Nothing felt right.
What were you thinking about during your media interviews?
I didn't want to do it.
Why did you do it? Did you feel like you had to do it?
I felt like, they would have just kept knocking on my door until I answered it. And, like, I didn't even set it up, but, Nicole Atkinson set it up. She told me, hey, Fox is going to...
Is she the one that set it up?
She said Fox is going to be at your house at 10:30. I'm like, what? Like, okay. And, I think I even called you about it, like, what do you recommend that I do? And he's like, it's kind of up to you. I'm like, okay. And
I called one of her friends, what should I do? And she said I probably wouldn't do it, but I just felt like, I don't even want to know what I said, what I looked like on there, because I knew it. Some people said it just made it look even worse after the fact, but
It didn't look good. I mean, obviously we can't say, oh, we knew right then he was lying, but I think we all watched it together and went, this might be bad.
Yeah,
I had that feeling after I watched it. So I could kind of see it in your face.
it's like I was just lying to more and more people. And
Did you talk to Nikki afterwards, after all this happened?
On the 13th and the 14th.
What was that conversation like?
It was the 13th. It was kind of like, it was more text and then maybe a phone call, like a phone call. And then she thought maybe Shanann took off with the kids, because I was telling her I didn't know where they were and all that. And then the 14th, she kind of I think she kind of thought something may have happened because they hadn't come back.
Why do you say that she might have thought that?
She kept asking me some weird questions. She kept asking questions that only I would know, but she was testing to see if it was actually me on the phone.
What do you mean?
She would ask what's my dog's name, or what do I what yoga studio do I go to, or something like that. And just I just answer her and then another thing I'm not sure if this is you. I'm just okay.
Is this through text or is this through calls?
Text.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't hearing your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible she thought you'd been arrested and we were on the phone?
Either Shanann had my phone or somebody else had my phone, or maybe maybe she thought it was.
Well, hopefully Shanann would know all the answers to those questions, right?
No. This is Nikki asking me.
Yeah, but if she's asking you your name of your dog and what yoga studio, and wouldn't Shanann know that?
Maybe she thought maybe I was with Shanann. That she was just trying to find out who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the conversation on the 14th got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh, she did.
Was she had told me this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place. All this is all going on. She said not to contact her until this is done. She told me to delete everything, and I didn't delete everything. I just okay. I'm not sure why I didn't delete anything, but probably helped you guys out a little bit. But she told you to delete everything? Delete all conversations.
Did she tell you why?
She just said delete it. Which I don't think you can ever delete a text message.
We're pretty good at getting deleted text messages.
When your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, they had, I had told them something this, I don't think this is going to work, with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids, they're this is the first time they had talked to me. And pretty much.
Because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shanann told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out. Because she was like, "All right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this." But she didn't want the kids to see him. She didn't want to see him. And then when I did see him on August 6th, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in a nursing home, and she still wouldn't go see my parents or anybody. It was the kids. So I just told her to leave me there, and my dad come pick me up, and spent the whole day there. And I just they were they said they want to see the kids. They just don't know if they could ever just forgive Shanann for everything that happened that day. I'm not sure everything that was said that day when they had that argument, but apparently it was a knockdown, drag out bomb that went off in there.
Pretty hurtful things.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And they just don't know if they could ever forgive her or not. And I just I never told them about cheating on
cheating on her. Like they even asked me, is there somebody else?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So they could kind of sense maybe something's going on.
Yeah, because Nikki was texting me the entire time I was over there.
Oh.
So like, they could kind of see like I was texting somebody, but it was like they kind of maybe they kind of knew. Like,
there are quite a few people who would tell us and who do tell us you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kissinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there, hiding in the basement.
She was there. You know, so the extreme is she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side, and then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. You know, what would you say to those people?
like, you know, she had her moments where I had to talk her like off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
It's like, I guess after the fact, there was like videos of her that she was like recording herself because she was like bipolar or something. I never do that. But it's like, and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just like, she came to my house once because I think it was like July 4th. I didn't have to work that day. So I didn't like get up at like, 4 o'clock and go home. And Shanann called me like 10 times in a row. And I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. And I was just like, and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her on outside, like, where are you at? Like, what? Like I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like you called me at like 5:30. It's like, my kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like, screw you, like like I don't know where you're at. And on the phone. And I went back inside. So I'm like, I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place when
Yeah.
Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because I didn't have to that day.
Okay.
The first holiday I ever had off, and Shanann was pissed, and kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left. But I think that's when I called Nikki later, and she was like, she kind of realized that she'd always be like the second. She said second fill.
Sure.
And because that's how I would come back that day. Just I don't want to be anywhere else when Shanann calls. She was already pissed. So it was stuff like that where she would she would go. She said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh.
Like, in August, like the first week of August, when I told her I had had that talk with her about separation. That's when she started looking at apartments and stuff. But during our July relationship type thing there.
Oh, I see.
That's when she was looking up will it actually work? Okay. She told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she already made her decision.
Okay. And so, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or
no, she never. I mean, this whole relationship contributed to it.
Sure.
But she didn't want me to.
I mean, was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids, I want to have, kids of my own with you, like?
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
Did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And why is that? You just didn't tell her?
I didn't know. Because we had met.
But Shanann put that on Facebook.
That's
how did she not see that?
I don't know. Maybe she did. She just was waiting for me to tell her, or she put it out of her head.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you?
Yeah, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
So they're kind of almost like a guidance counselor almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus though, with your decisions you made?
Yeah, I
or
mean,
no?
I was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like
Sure.
maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Like, like stuff that came out like afterwards, like that whole Nikki Kessinger article in Denver Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me like afterwards and everything, but I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were gonna do. Like the whole taking the plea deal and everything, I told them that's what I wanted to do, and they asked me like, it seems like 100 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like once you sign this, like, I guess like up until sentencing, I had the time to like back out, but like they always, even before we walked in the courtroom, they're like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, this is your decision, like, if you want to take this farther, and John said he was right, he had all kinds of motions written and all kinds of stuff that were like really creative, and because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight, and I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true. Because it would just only gotten worse.
Right.
For everybody. For all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but like I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that there's a trial hanging over their head, or I mean, if it ever got that far, I don't know. Yeah. But like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day. Some of my friends had a negative, impact on her from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want them, like, anybody have to trash her memory. Like, I wanted like them to know, like, she's loving life. She's beautiful. She always helped everybody else, all of her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted, I didn't want anybody to take away what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night. I know, but do you remember that?
I remember. I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I know. It's like, like after my dad left, we both came in like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
Well, in the end, I think you did the right thing, and even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard, and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Yeah, it was anybody that was family or friends.
Right.
It would have been, just exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened? You just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason?
Yeah, I've told them like on the phone, even because they're still.
You should fight it. You should get.
They've got letters from like Australia, from England. I mean, of like the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like improper counsel or something like that.
Ineffective counsel.
Ineffective counsel, and I mean some of the stuff they've they've said about the dry patch, how it's not like FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, like there was some kind of condition, but there's something else they call like CPSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or something like that. Have been like, some people from England have had it. It's like they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship and stuff like that. I mean, just like some of the little subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but like it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But like they've got a lot of support they've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of like stuff like that. I wish they never happened, but they get some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think there's a chance that I could get out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like,
you
don't want to fathom that.
They tell me to fight it, like, they don't, not every day, but in their on their bad days,
Yeah.
they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and then they'll just kind of revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom, she loses it a lot.
Yeah.
On the phone, my dad's usually trying to, you know, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him. Because it's just gonna rile you up, and it's gonna make him go back to his cell, and he's gonna think about that all night.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
That they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in like May or so.
So they don't, do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was, their words like railroaded by illegals.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, they felt like they pressured me to do it. So,
Do you feel like that? No.
no, they asked me plenty of times. This is like, you know, they wanted to fight. Like if I said fight, they would have just, you know, gone and
Put on their gloves.
yeah, just went in there and did it. You know, yeah, it's like no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, you know, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it